you know, I don't know what people are looking for on these videos. Like, it seems to me that people all too close to home are tuning in, and you know, I if someone's been dishing out the URL of the channel, you know, I don't know who keeps plotting on me, you know, except that, you know, it's like, you know, if people don't like it, anyone who doesn't like this channel, you know, just don't watch it, you know. If anyone doesn't like it, it's, you know, it's nothing to do with me that people, you know, if people want to measure every single statement added to their own riddled mind of Indol 5, you know, and they think it's morphing into something they understand when they're just paranoid out of their heads, it's, you know, it's not my fault that people take drugs, watch films, and then think they're seeing something that isn't there. You know, it's just not my fault. I mean, it's just, you know, for the record, I smoke tobacco and tobacco only, and I don't take drugs and I don't drink alcohol, so that's how I am at the moment. I mean, the thing is, right, this is the weird thing, okay, alright, when I was working on my project for, Everlasting Life Industries, I discovered something that I thought was useful, and I told someone, and they cornered the market in it, and now everyone's dropping dead like flies. So You know, which is a kind of poetic justice, really, isn't it? You know, it's like they had to steal it. They stole it out of my mailbox, and they stole it out of the postal system, and they steal it wherever they go, because what they are is murderous thieves. It's like, you know. I was actually quite enjoying it, but what I realised was, what I realised was that, well, see, this is the thing. You know, a person goes to sleep after drinking a few beers. You know, suddenly, you know, while they're asleep, the murderous thieves walk in while they're sleeping and do something to them. They wake up in the morning and they attribute it to the drink, or someone does, but it's not it wasn't the drink, and it wasn't. So it's it's the people that are getting in at night and doing it to people. It's not. So, you know, I had, you know, what, a million success stories in my life, and or a million to the, you know, and every time there was a success story, it got destroyed. So, you know, by murderous thieves. So, um, it's like, um, you know, it's like if I say, you know, it's like if I say something's good, it's like we'll have that, and then they kill themselves with it. So, you know, it's like, you know, accidentally. They kill themselves with it accidentally, you know. You know, like for example, the hemp called amnesia. Now, it does make you forget, but who wants to forget? I'd rather know what was going on. You know, I don't want to be flaked out with no consciousness of any memory at all. I'd rather be fully cognizant of everything. You know, it's like, you know, if, you know, you know, how long can you play guitar stoned out of your head? It's like, you know, on amnesia, you probably forget all your chords, you know, as people, so, you know, it's like, You know, I probably said as much as I can say about that, because if I push the boat too far on talking about that issue, you know, I just come in for stick. So, you know, but you know, it's as if the more drugs people take, the less conscience they have about how to live environmentally. So, you know, if I smoked an Indole 5, you know, I'd probably say, well, you know, what's the point of making videos? I'd probably just sit here doing nothing, you know, or be, you know, so, you know, the music that I made had nothing to do with being on drugs. You know, you know, I'm naturally who I am. It had nothing to do with, you know, certainly cannabis doesn't, or anything else. You know, it's like, you know, the reason I'm sometimes less of a player when I wake up in the morning is just simply that murder seeds get in at night. You know, it's like, while I'm asleep, you know, whatever they're doing, it's not helping. You know, so. Like, you know, since you know, I mean, the situation is they've been wirelessly having access to my systems and stealing everything I own, so, and trying to kill me at night, so, or in the day if I fall asleep, so, you know, and there are people that know that I'm on camera at the moment, you know, and it's like, you know, while I'm in here and the fridge is over there in the other room, I can't see what's going on. So, you know, if I'm broadcasting here, they just walk in there, take the food. So, you know, I need something to make me feel good, you know. Desiring something like a person that never seems to be a realistic proposition anyway. You know, and desiring anything else when everything you get's being stolen, so, you know, so, you know, I don't think, You know, and the stresses and strains of trying to get the word out about the music is like the stresses and strains of that. It just creates. It's just like anything I try to do, they try to create havoc just because I'm trying to do it. It's like, you know, it's like it's as if the average guy or the average person doesn't seem to realise that, you know, what I do means more to me than their intention to steal something as trivial as an MP3 off of me, you know. So like, anyone that has stolen off of me, you know, I could kill them for it. So, you know, anyone that has done anything to me, I could kill them for it. There's a statistic. People that steal from me or try to hurt me usually die within a matter of hours, minutes, seconds, hours, weeks, months. So, you know, but they never learn. They never learn. So, it's a question of, it's like, the people around them don't learn. They watch them die and they think, oh, we'll carry on the thieving and the murderous activity, but, you know, then they go, and then, you know, but no, but it's like, it's about time people notice that, you know, it's just the truth. It's just the truth. I mean, you know, people can cry their eyes out about the truth, but that's just the truth. So, you know, if they cry their eyes out, it's kind of slightly immature as far as I'm concerned to cry their eyes out about something which I'm explaining completely explicitly. You know. You know, they think they've stolen every one of my last secrets, and it's like, you know, which certain people are kind of uh, pushing pushing throughout the planet as, you know, my innermost secrets push throughout the planet as a tactic against me to, you know, as if so that as if everyone knows my secrets, then somehow I'm at the mercy of other people. But I don't think so. You know, I think that, you know, you can't mess with the OTGF, and you can't mess with Music Machine, and you can't mess with me. So people have tried, and they are trying, and they've abused everything. It's like, you know, you don't abuse things like that, because I never did. And I learnt from other people, and I honoured the other people that I learnt from. I didn't steal anything, and I didn't, you know, the rest of the Um, so like, you know, it always come it always it it comes back as a curse on them, and it always will. It's written into the system. So you know, they can't chuck my property around and think they're gonna, you know, anybody could tell a person that, you know, it's like, you know, these crack losers, they take £1 million worth of property and they flog it for a fiver, and that £1 million worth of property is probably something that a person spent their whole life building. So and then they just sell it for a fiver, and buy something to smoke that lasts them 2 seconds, and then they want to go out and kill people again to buy more. So you know so it's ridiculous. And what what I said on the site about someone having secured a load of a dangerous product from somewhere, it's absolutely the truth. And I'm it's so people don't seem to realise, well, you know the kind of, and the excuses that people make for people, just don't affect me at all. I just, I see things for what they are. I don't, these apologisers for murderous thieves are just, you know, they're just soaking more blood, Um, there's no excuse. And like, that's the way I treat people. I'm proud of it. So I'll just say that, well, I hope I've said enough. It's like, I've got nothing, I'm not trying to prove anything. I'm just telling people, you know, I'm just, the ignorant, the stupid, there's not a word that, what is it, the stupid savant, rubbish. What is it, the thieving savant or the murdering savant? That's all nonsense. People have tried to push their way into my psyche as if things that I knew, as if they deserved things that I knew. So I just say to anyone, don't expect anything from me, because I've already given just about as much as I can give, and so don't anyone expect that I will do anything for them at all, because there was a time when I tried. There was a time when I was trying all the time, but right about now, I wouldn't do anything for anyone. So you can shit that word out. You can shit those words out your arse, but it won't fucking help you do me in. And as I said, I reckon, I wouldn't know the exact figures, but I expect that a great many people are watching this while they're smashed out of their faces on some kind of intoxicating substance. And I just reckon that, if they weren't stupid enough already, they're probably just, so, and as for the person who's been stalking me since the 1970s, I mean, you know, with his button, stop right there. Well, where's he had to stop? So, for anyone who considers themselves to be a friend or a supporter or anybody decent enough to be considering that, and don't expect that I want love, because I do not want love, but anyone who's decent enough to consider what can I say? I'll be getting on with my life. I'll be getting on with what I do, and I don't get in anyone's way, and I don't I've got no intention, or there's nothing in any of my activities at all which infringes anybody else's activities or rights or anything, because that's the code that I live by. So it's so You know, and anybody who says differently, I'd suggest that they're hallucinating their own hatred. So you know, and it's like, what are people trying to prove? It's like, you know, it's like the guy that lives 2 blocks down the road or whatever. You know, what, has he got to kill me because I'm a better guitar player because I've been playing 50 years and he only took it up 2 weeks ago? So, you know, does he want to kill me over his grief that he can't play guitar, or does he want to kill me for some other reason of the difference between me and someone else? You know? You know, I don't claim to be, well, I won't even say that. You know, people who think they analyse video footage for signals of something or other, I just think they're paranoid losers. So, and so, you know, I woke up again 2 days ago, and I've stayed awake. In fact, I probably woke up late this morning after being asleep for however long, and you know, it's, you know, I'll keep myself awake for as long as I have to ensure that, you know, I don't die while I'm awake. But waking up each day is harder and harder because, you know, there are people that still haven't got it into their heads the way things are. So, um, you know, the OT, you know, I've really got, I really ought to say, you know, I really ought to say something, um, you know, I've been here for a while and I have nothing to do with anybody at all. I have nothing to do with anybody at all, and there's 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 this kind of speculation among people who have been listening to people who have been trying to say that they've got something to do with me. But all these people are stalkers who have been trying to kill me for years. They're nothing to do with me. I don't have anything to do with anyone. You know, I don't want to be, you know, these ugly rumours that I somehow have had, that I somehow have been involved with this person, that person, it's just not true. So, but things that I've said or written about reality, well, you know, if people hadn't have been trying to make me feel that I had to explain myself, I wouldn't have had to say so much. But it's kind of, you know, I've got nothing to do with anyone. I haven't communicated with another person for ages. I just don't talk to people. I don't. You know, on the look. I don't talk to people. I don't want anything to do with people. I'm quite self-sufficient, and that's the way it is. So, and there's so much rubbish being talked about things, and it's like, well, this is the thing. I mean, they stole a half a ton of paperwork, and then they rewrote it, and then they and then they and then they gave it to the people that gave it to me. So they stole my paperwork, rewrote it, gave it back to the people. They looked at it, then they've gone, "What the fuck's happened?" Well, then they've gone, "What's happened here?" Then things have been resubmitted. They stole all my paperwork. It's like, my activities with people that I knew, the guy that's been stalking me since the 70s, he tries to be me, and I've said that he fakes being me, fake, but he probably don't know who he bloody is by now, after trying to suggest that he was me all the time. It's like, but what my interests and what I said and what I said and what I said and what I said, well, it's all too, it's probably too late for the people that are sort of, looking at my every word to see if they can connect it to some other word that I said, or something that they were told by someone else, especially the person that's been stalking me from the 70s and trying to compile like a lexicon of my words to use against me, to submit to other people to use against me. It's kind of, so, I'm a very serious person, and I had serious things, and so, stealing things off of me and other people, um, and no basis for a moral ambition. So, stealing my knowledge is no basis for a moral ambition. So, or any ambition. People have, have stolen my paperwork, my property, everything. and then they start having ambitions about what they think they can do, and then they realise they can't do it, so they try and fake it with the supporting paperwork and stolen property, and they try to fake it. And the person that's been stalking me from the 70s has broken so much stuff trying to climb his way somewhere. He's broken people's lives, he's broken companies, you know. He's broken, it's like, um, but, I'm gonna take a break and, see what. you know, it's like people who attack people who play music. It's like John Lennon was killed by a guy called Mark Chapman, according to the story. Now, that was in the 70s. But, you know, so it's like, who is it that thinks they're doing what? It's like, you know, it's like the guy that's been stalking me since the 70s. He pretends he's leading a moral crusade against something, you know, but at the same time, he acts that at the same time he says that he does the same thing himself. So, you know, he tries to suggest that somehow I'm doing something wrong, but he is a lot worse, and a lot worse. And it's kind of, you know, you know, you know. So I play rock music. It's like, what is it that he tries to do to suggest that that's wrong? Well, he pretends that he plays classical music, and he says that classical music is like morally okay, but rock music's not, and that's not real in any sense. So, you know, so, considering the fact that he actually supports, you know, murderous music. So, you know, so you know, I've got to come to some consideration about what's been going on. It's like, you know, what is it about? You know, people try to suggest they're superior when all they're doing is sitting at home on their sofas, like watching the television. You know, what's superior about that? You know, I like John Lennon's music. It's, you know, he might even still be alive. Maybe it was all a mistake. Maybe, you know, maybe he lived just like you know, the Kennedy thing, and I don't know, maybe he lived, and maybe John Lennon lived, maybe he died and was brought to life, maybe he died and a lookalike lived, and then Chapman was freed because the lookalike didn't appear to be Lennon alive, and Chapman didn't go down for it, and, you know, so, you know, what's going on, I ask myself, you know. You know, there are two sides to everything. Rock is classical and classical is rock, and, you know, magic of the light. You know, just like there are two sides to magic. You know, it's like, you know, the OTGF present the light side, although the inner side is completely dark. So, I'm not laughing. you know, it's reality, isn't it? You know, I'm just echoing my warning to anyone who's treading where they shouldn't, you know. You know, we're fed up. You know, so, okay, so I'll do it now. I'll call people's bluff. Well, I'll just say it, okay? Okay, you know, I am the Grand Master of the OTGF. Um, my sacred name is Octinimus Panhermeticus, and you know, I am the Grand Master of the OTGF, and the OTGF are a magical order, and there's two sides to it. The side that I've presented in the syllabus of the OTGF is the light side, and when you finish with that, you can get on with the dark side. You know, it's you know, look, you know, I'm sick and fucking tired of having to explain myself to people. You know, so don't, you know, and this thing about how I could be something for someone, such as, you know, why should I always be either put in a position where I'm just being I don't fantasize about what direction I could go in. I've already done what I've done. You know, I don't believe in an invisible whisper in my ear. Or someone's attempted projection of a idea. You know, so the OCGF, well, it's fascinating, isn't it? I mean, it's like, it fascinates me. You know, and I'm the Grand Master. I'll always, you know, it's like, you know, and so, you know, but really, see, something that's fascinating. I mean, what was it that encouraged the stalker from the who's been stalking me from the 70s? What is he fascinated about? You know, is he a Chapman trying to kill a Lennon? You know, as the news broke out in the 70s. So, You know, or anybody else that's been getting on my case. You know, what is it? Is it because I create music? Is it because I'm the Grandmaster of the OTGF? You know, what for what? You know, I don't talk to people anymore, and I try to say as little as possible, but sometimes I just get, you know, and over what I said, well, it's like what I've said, it's kind of true, and all what I've written is true, but once again, if there are people trying to read like things into it, it's like people going over the videos of whatever and thinking that while they're smashed out of their skulls on something, when people read things, it's exactly the same. There's no telling how people are gonna behave, when they're the OTGF presented the most safest way of approaching magic. That's what it did. And people have tried to say that it didn't, but it did, because we researched every possibility before we began, so and it's kind of and as for stage magic or close-up magic, well, when I got around to where what I found was with pretend magic, not real magic, but pretend magic. What I found with pretend magic was that just like real magic, it was far too much for most people. Most people seem to have a psychotic reaction to it. It's sadly, well, I don't, real magic and pretend magic. Well, I'm so good at real magic and I'm so good at pretend magic that it's, it's just people think it's one and the same. So you know, and of course they watch the videotapes and they secretly observed this and that, and they've stolen the books, and they try to talk, they try to find out about this that, and it's kind of, you know, you know, they're trying to do something with something that if I showed them really what it was, well, they'd probably die. They'd probably die of fright, you know. You know, they probably, just like everything else from the academic, from the academic work that I've done, that that'd shock them dead as well. So it's kind of, you know, it's like, you know, it seems to me there are people that deny it, and then there are people that just can't handle it, and it's kind of between the deniers and the people that just can't handle it. It's, so, you know, once again, it's all on the footage, but I guess, you know, it's not going to be obvious to everybody, and it's not going to. Well, I said, well, what's going to be obvious and what's not? I've seen so many decent people be let down by the counter opinion that led to the destruction of themselves and what they'd done, and it's kind of, you know, I'm not trying to rescue anyone in particular at this moment, but I'm just suggesting that, um, so yeah, you know, so I think I've said enough for this 17 minutes that I've been on this sequence, so um, I'm going to try and I'm going to try and find some more music to listen to, and I'll speak to you all later.